What? What are you doing between sets? Don't judge me. Good morning, Gigi Cat. If I wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy, does that mean I'm feeling like Poop Diddy? Because that's exactly what I'm doing. It is grip day, which always falls on the weekend, which is the most difficult time to stick to an appropriate food regimen, nutrition plan, whatnot. Because on my deadlift days, I prep food for 4 days, which is, I work 4 days a week. We do 10-hour days. That'll change after Labor Day and go back to regular hours. But it's more difficult to stick to the nutrition plan on weekends because I'm not micromanaging. I'm not being micromanaged at all. Instead of waking up at 4:15, I got 14 hours of sleep and I woke up at 2. So I'm just prepping up some apple and cinnamon instant oatmeal, Market Basket brand Demoulas. I got 6 packets of that going up. I'm gonna pair that with a protein shake, put some milk in the oatmeal to make nice and almost like a cinnamon, like Apple Jacks almost, except not with the oils and whatnot. So it won't hit the tummy too hard. It's a good source of carbs. The protein shake will be about 50 grams of protein and whatnot. And then later today, we're gonna go hit up the gym. We're gonna do grip day. Yeah, grip day doesn't really take too long. We don't really do much else throughout the day. I guess I'll go to the store, get dinner ready. I don't know. You guys know just as well as I do what I'm gonna do today, and that's gonna be mostly nothing. Oatmeal, protein shake. Yeah. All right, bros and bears, today is grip day. Now, we're gonna do a little different. We're gonna talk a little bit about the biomechanics of grip, because a lot of people don't necessarily train grip. It's not, you got squat day, you got bench day, you got deadlift day, and you got accessory day. And that accessory day, a lot of times becomes like overhead press day, or like sumo deadlift day if you're a conventional deadlifter. The accessory day, you got to devote to your weakness. My biggest weakness, outside of my calves, is grip. So let's talk about the biomechanics of grip. Your hand is broken up into 3 parts. You've got your thumb, you've got your manipulators, and you've got your grippers. So your thumb is the only finger that you have that can actually touch every single one of your fingers without the aid of another finger, right? So your thumb is almost like an aid finger. Your index finger and middle finger are your manipulators. They're your most maneuverable fingers. You grab things with it. A lot of times you pinch and you grab like that. A lot of your pinching and like picking up of things is done with those fingers. Now these grip fingers, it's like turning on the Hemi on your truck, right? It's what gives you all the power in your grip. So you got these fingers manipulating everything, and this shit helps make sure that it stays on, make sure that you're still gripping it. If you notice on deadlifts that you fail, once your gripper fingers fail, the rest kind of just disintegrates, because that's where you're going to get most of your grip from. So I have my strong hand and my weak hand. My weak hand in my grippers, 300 pounds of grip. On this hand, my strong hand, 330 pounds of grip. I measured that last week, but I didn't share it because it was kind of like a weird setup. I couldn't. We're going to see what fresh hands can do, and then we're going to do some grip work that will focus on the grippers, and we're gonna do a little bit of recovery work to build up the cartilage in the manipulators and thumb. We're also gonna build up the thumb strength, because gripping with the thumb is your 5th wheel of your pickup truck, right? So let's see if I still have 300 and 330. So we're set up on the reverse hyper because it's got 2 handles, makes it a little easier. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this bad boy around. We're going to take our gripper fingers, get the other, and between our grippers and our thumb, we're gonna pull, flip it around. So we got the grippers and the thumb and here. So we're gonna pull. Notice how I'm not leaning into it. So that is 368 pounds. All right, owie. Flip it around and do the strong hand. All right, ready? So about 500. You saw with that, evened out around 368 and about 450 pounds. So my arms are a little bit stronger than I was last week. Last week I did it at the end of I think it was either a bench or a squat day. Now we have measurable numbers outside of the girth of my forearms that can help us tell how much grip strength we have. And we want to bring those numbers way up. 300 plus 400 is 700, right? 300, let's downplay it. 350 plus 450 is 800 because you throw the 50 on the 350 and that's 400 and 400. A little bit of mental math there. So about 800 pounds, but you gotta maintain it. You gotta sustain it for about 3 seconds. You gotta work a little bit of endurance as well as the grip strength. So we're gonna do a lot of work working on our thumbs and on our grippers today, and plus the kind of recovery thing. It's a secret, and you'll know what it is when you see it. It's real nice. Now we got numbers we can base things off of. Fantastic, here we go. I think it's called cannonball grippers. It's kind of cannonballs that can fit in the middle of your hand, but we are only using the gripper part of our hand. We did 12 reps of trying to like wrist curl it up, but it's kind of large. And then a 60-second hold on each hand. It's only 25 pounds. We're working the hypertrophic fibers as well as the strength fibers and endurance fibers in our forearms with that. All right, so that one's the pincher. What you do is you take two 25-pound plates and you put them so the smooth side is out. You pinch them together and make sure that they don't fall. If you let up at all on your grip, one will slide and the other will slide and it'll fall on your toes. You don't want to mess up your toe beans. 10-second hold, 5-second hold, and then double-handed 60-second hold. I probably should have used chalk. That'd probably make it a little bit better. Be able to hold on a little longer, but details. I bet you guys are wondering, Patrick, Daddy, why are you knitting in between sets on grip day? And there is more than just 2 or 3 reasons why it's beneficial to a lifter and their hands, right? Because hand health is actually pretty important for lifting. A lot of geriatric and like older people have weak hands, right? They get carpal tunnel, they get arthritis. So what they do is they suggest that they knit because knitting is actually pretty healthy. It's better than typing. It activates more fingers and actually builds up the cartilage in your hands and fingers. So that's the health benefit. The training benefit is, you ever hear about the concept of active recovery? So this is a nice light kind of, it's not cardio, but for your hands comparatively, it would kind of be a cardio, right? And I know what you're saying, Patrick, did you just say that knitting is cardio? That's the most lamest excuse for cardio I've ever heard. And you're right, but I'm not talking about for your heart, I'm talking about for the muscles in your hand. You're loading them up with all this blood from gripping your forearms and whatnot, and you need to aid in their recovery. So keeping them active through active recovery of knitting actually is beneficial to gains in the long run. Another reason is because you get to make sick stuff, like I am in the middle of making a blanket, right? Just don't do it at work. They might get mad at you because it's too obvious that you're not really doing anything at work. Anyway, so the final reason, and listen up, single bros. Most of you are single, I know, because your biggest relationship is with yourself in the gym. Knitting is not a female-only activity, right? You think, hey, I'm gonna go hit on some girls. I'm gonna go to yoga classes, sit in the back and get a boner and know that I'm the creeper in the room. I'm gonna go take gender studies and I'm gonna be the only guy in the room and I'll be like, women don't belong in the kitchen. And then everyone's gonna be like, you know what? I wanna fuck this guy. No. Knitting is one of those activities that's often overlooked. So in high school, I learned how to knit, and I knit my first scarf. It was a rainbow scarf, and I didn't know about knitting consistency, so it ended up looking like a dick on accident. It was a rainbow penis on accident, so I gave it to my dad for Christmas. He thought it was funny, never wore it. I wouldn't have worn it either. But you know what? I had 5 or 6 female classmates teaching me how to knit. I posted about getting back into knitting. I had 2 or 3 females slide into my DMs to say, you know what? you should knit. Knitting is fun. Knitting, every time you finish a row, you get a drop of dopamine, serotonin. You feel good about what you've done. You're not just wasting your time staring at a television screen, not really making anything. You can stare at a television and knit, and you're making something. There are activities out there that single guys don't do because it's so gay. And if you're that insecure about your masculinity, why don't you go to a gay bar and not feel flattered whenever someone tries to buy you a fruity drink and you hate yourself because you're just sitting there drinking whiskey because it's tough. No, try the appletini. Probably pretty good. There's a reason it's made. It's probably tasty. If you're gonna let your masculinity control what you are, who you are, what you do, you're missing out on having fun in your life. Stop caring about what other people think. Activities that are female dominated will allow you to penetrate the female circle. You ever hear of knitting clubs? It's where a bunch of girls get together and they knit. It could be a solo activity if they want. No. Females are social creatures. They knit together. They gossip. They're like, oh my God, my boyfriend, he doesn't do the dishes. I do the dishes. And then he does this. And if you're at the knitting club, you'd be like, that ain't cool. That guy's a dick, right? You get on the girl's good side. And when you're in the circle, when you're finally accepted as not a creeper, because you've actually participated in a female social activity, then you can start to participate in the social activity that you want to participate. Wink, wink. Other activities that are female dominated would include cooking. Go to a cooking class. You'll notice that either all the guys there are gay, because that's what females assume, and they automatically trust them, right? Or it's all females. You're the only guy there, and they're like, I don't know. You struggle, they help you, they feel good about themselves, you feel good about yourself because you're learning a new skill and not wasting your time just sending out blind DMs all day, and you actually participate in society as a whole and not as a deadbeat. Another activity is theater. Now I know what you're saying. Theater and dance, those are super gay. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. I don't do theater, I don't dance, because that's a lot of work and commitment that you have to put into something. Whereas knitting, all you have to do is learn how to knit, purl, you're in the goal. But with theater and dance, you gotta actually put in effort, and it's probably gonna take a little bit of your time away from your games, where knitting and cooking won't. Knitting and cooking may actually help your games, because cooking, you're gonna have to eat all that shit anyways, might as well learn how to cook. So, have you ever seen a theater or dance guy not surrounded in girls? No? Oh my gosh. If you're not lifting and you're willing to put forth the amount of effort to learn how to theater and dance properly, put the effort in, you're gonna be in the closest knit community, no pun intended, and you'll be surrounded by females all the time, and if you want to, probably, you can have your pick on any single one of them. So, Don't just write something off because you think that it's gay or something. It's too feminine. I don't want to do that. That's stupid. No, have an open mind. And if you're that fragile with your masculinity, go reassess it, because you're missing out on a lot of fun things. You're missing out on creating beautiful artworks. Art's another one. Go to a painting class. It's all female. Drawing class, all female. There's even nude art if you're okay with your masculinity enough to occasionally look at a penis. It's just the human form. So, if you're that fragile with your masculinity, go reassess yourself. Stop letting the opinions of others, the opinions of yourself, dictate what you will and won't do. Who knows, you may find that fruity girly drink is delicious and you actually like it. I don't drink alcohol, but that's the top thing that you hear. Try knitting out. You may find some gains in your forearms and your hands. You may actually feel better. I have not felt my pinky and a little bit of my ring finger since my last meet. Since I've started knitting again, I've gotten feeling back in my fingers. It is very good at recovery. It will help you become a stronger, better person, and the less insecure you are about things, the more fun, the more you will get out of your life. Find something, give it a try. If you post it on Instagram, make sure you tag me and use the hashtag Pangwang, because we're the Pangwang, because penguins are badass. And that'll be a whole different video as to why penguins are the best animal. I gotta do some more grip stuff. There's way too much time in between grip sets. I just had to vent to you guys that knitting is actually really fun and you should give it a try. So we work the grippers, we work the thumb, the grippers with the cannonball, the thumb with the pinchers. Now we're incorporating all three parts of the fingers, all parts of the hands in the fat grip dumbbell pickup. You'll see a lot of strongman competitors like Brian Shaw, Hathor Bjornsson. I've seen Larry Wheels even do it a couple times with Thor. Grip challenges like this. So this is a progressive, not an overload, but we're basically pushing the limitations of how far we can go. Instead of doing singles like most other people would, we're gonna do reps. We're gonna do 3 reps per hand to kind of build up a little more strength rather than just maxing out and seeing where we're at. Because if you max out every day, every time that you do something, you're not gonna be able to see much of what you're doing. You're not gonna see progress. Unless it's the first 6 months of you lifting, maxing out's not really doing anything for you. So we're doing the dumbbell fat grip pickups for reps, sets of 3, to work our entire hand, our entire grip, hopefully building more and more strength. Sets of 3 is still within the hyperplasia, whereas sets of 5 to 8 will be in the hypertrophic area, for this lift at least. Remember, on that, we're working the grip, not deadlift. So that hand on the leg pulling up, the hand on the knee, it's completely fine because we're working grip, not the deadlift or glutes or back or anything. We're just trying to get it up. That's only 145 pounds, 45s and 10s, plus whatever the weight of the handle is. I think it's 25 pounds. I can deadlift that. I just don't want to be straining myself any further. And you don't want to strain yourself any further. Plus, you got to be in a weird position to get those 45s up. I'm not making excuses, I think. I'm working grip. It's a grip work, grip day. Let me go back to knitting. That's about where my weak hand is maxing out for sets of 3. There's 45s and 25s on there. 45, 90 pounds, 25s, 50 pounds. So that's 140 pounds plus whatever, so maybe like 150 to 165 pounds. More numbers that we have, the more knowledge base, the more statistics that we can assess growth from. Maybe at one point we do this exact same progression, same weight, but we do it with 4 reps. There's progress there. If next time we do this, we can't do this, we'll know that, all right, we're fatigued. There's always a reason towards failure. This, I don't think there's a form issue, I don't know. The more numbers you track, the more numbers you can control, the more beneficial it will be mentally. So I'm gonna do a couple sets with this, probably 2 more sets with this. I'll video them both, and you can see the progression. And if I fail on the 3rd set, we'll know we reached the max potential of where my grip is at right now. Cheerio. And since you couldn't actually see the fat grip, yeah, it's on there. And the very last surprise thing that we're gonna do, I don't know the name of it, but basically it works, the grippers and the thumb. Basically take a, well, I'm able to do it with this, the adjustable dumbbell, and you hold it horizontal or vertical, and you go back and forth. So the action of going back is grippers. Going forth is thumb. So you're working 2 different grips, and it's a wide enough grip that it's not overly manipulative. So it's working that grip strength as well. So we do that on a table or a bench or something to make sure that we're not using our delts or biceps, because those muscles are going to be so much more stronger than the forearm muscles that we're trying to isolate in this movement. It's an isolation movement, it's a grip movement. Hopefully it's gonna add a couple pounds, 10, 20,000, you know, basic goal, 1,000,000 pounds. Let's do a million pounds. Yeah, let's just start with 1 or 2. So the difficulty in this arises due to the mathematical concept of torque. So the further down you grab, the harder it's gonna be. The further up that you grab, the easier it's gonna be, because torque is equal to force times radius, FR. So by grabbing further along, you're increasing the radius, making the torque harder. So you're actually torquing yourself a little bit harder, making it harder, more gains, the further away you go. So if you want to add weight to it, you can add weight to it normally, but that's not gonna, you add 5 pounds, but you're not adding 5 pounds worth of difficulty. If you want to add 5 pounds, you gotta add 5 pounds to the tip, just the tip, which will, 5 pounds at the tip is a lot different than 5 pounds at the base due to that radius. It's almost double. That's an approximation. It's a really good one, getting a forearm pump. I wanted a forearm pump. This is hardware, like, when you're doing hyperplasia, you don't really get pumps as much as you do during hypertrophy. So I'm trying to get a pump with this, doing sets of, 20 back and forth, which is 10 reps of either way. It's a superset technically, but I want a forearm pump. I want the veins popping. I want my fist to look like Jeff Bezos's rocket and not the one in his, that he rode to space. If you have to compensate with, no, I don't want it to look like either of Jeff Bezos's rockets, because if you have to spend that much to compensate for something, no, I want it to look like The Rock's massive dick. Monkey dick. There's only one correct answer to dish soap. Gains both in and out the kitchen and gym. No added hormones or steroids? We can fix that. We made fried rice. We got chicken cooking, and I cooked the rice in that pot, and then cooked the fried rice in this pan. Now I'm cooking the chicken in that pot because I don't fucking want to do dishes. More dishes, rather. Smart. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell your mom I posted. She's my #1 fan. Ask her about me sometime.